Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your bro Lo, and I'm bringing you guys another saucy trading video. I hope you guys are having a great morning. For everybody that has had a good trading week, has been controlling risk. You know what I'm saying? Be proud of yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you've been taking big wins, small losses, or break evens, you gotta give yourself props for controlling yourself this week. Especially with a FOMC week. People who ever traded FOMC yesterday, you know what I'm saying. If you ended up with a big win, small win, break even, or small loss, good shit. Because FOMC days can be a little choppy, a little crazy. So let's get right into what I am looking at today. So today, what news do we have? Oh, interest rate decision for GU. Okay, and then you have jobless claims. So I'm gonna wait for jobless claims. Oh, you have existing home sales as well. So a lot of high impact news today. Today, what I'm seeing, what I'm seeing is I'm not bullish on indices at all. Yet, like I said, for me to be bullish for indices, I would have needed price to expand through. Oh my God, here going goddamn alarm. Here we go again. Goddamn it, goddamn it, shit. But yeah, for indices' sake, I'm not bullish until price I start getting some expansion above certain PD arrays. We do have previous daily high here. And we are playing inside of this 4-hour fair value gap on the hourly. We did close in the hourly FEG, but the 4-hour is a little bit more important, as well as this daily FEG that I'm looking for price to still kind of have a little bit of resistance away from. Right now, I think that possibly we could get to the previous weekly low today, or even the previous daily low for low hanging fruit objective. For indices, for ES, looking for the same thing. You do have relative equal lows right here. Right. So we got relative equal lows there. I'm looking for sells. If the trade lines up, if something lines up to where I could potentially get that sell, cool. Right now, you do have this balanced price range here. Right, that price completely went through. Maybe price trades up into this FEG right here, because this is the first FEG of this expansion. But since this is a balanced price range, maybe price doesn't completely go through here. For what I would like to see, you do have this hourly FEG as well. So maybe this hour comes up. Right, you do have all that news. So maybe we get a little wiki inside of here, but close in consequent encroachment of that balanced price range, and maybe we start going towards previous daily low. That's possibly what I want to. That's kind of what I want to see. NQ should fall a little bit more than ES, so I would rather sell NQ and then ES now. NQ should start being a leader for maybe sales, just from looking at it. For EU and GU, I'm looking for the previous weekly low to be basically drawn liquidity. We do have this this hourly fair value gap that closed through previous daily low, so I would like to see this basically be resistance or some sort to maybe start trading towards the previous weekly low. All we did was open today, Asia. Right, Asia, and then London just dropped, right? And if the previous week low is my target, then I'm not really looking for price to really come up all the way up here. If it does come all the way up here and then start rejecting, I might entertain a short with the news if it does come all the way up there. Cool, but right now I'm just reading what happens during news. I'm not really looking to take anything today. So far, I've had a great week. Monday was a big day, and Tuesday was a small losing day. If I walked out the week today, right now, no trades, no nothing. That's a good week for me. I wouldn't say big week, but a good week. Today, take a small. If we take a loss, it'd be a good week. if we take an even smaller loss, it'll be a great week. All right, so that's all I'm looking at right now. GU, since we did have that interest rate decision with GU, seems like we're coming up into a fair value gap right here. Maybe the news might run price up for GU, and then start getting some price action to go lower, possibly. My drawn liquidity for the higher time frame is bullish. But right now we're inside of this monthly order block. We did take our previous weekly high, and then Monday we never gave that a wick. So I'm thinking that potentially we could get down into Monday's low still. That is kind of my target, my bias. Even though the higher time frame is bullish, maybe short term I am looking for it to go lower, potentially to come and clean some of this up before it even goes higher, right? If we do trade inside of this FEG and close all that in, then maybe we don't come for the previous weekly low. I'm just kind of getting a feel for the tape. So with dollar, we did take out the previous daily high. Wait, no, not the previous daily high, because that's not the previous daily high. Okay, so we got the previous daily low and high there. All right, boom. I'm gonna put that in there. So we did take out previous daily high. If dollar is gonna go lower, then it needs to go through the 25, at least 25% of the previous daily range for me. You do have this FEG right inside of here that price could potentially use to maybe start trading up towards the previous weekly high. It's kind of two-sided for me with GU and EU and dollar. Not really GU EU, but dollar is a little two-sided for me because it could continue to go lower from here, right? Could continue to go lower. We are still rejecting off of this daily line, but at the same time we are coming from a weekly discount. So right now I don't really know where, if I was to look at dollar, I don't really know where price is potentially gonna go. What I do want to see is how does this hourly trade inside of this fair value gap not come all the way down inside of here. I want to see how do we trade right here, and if we do come inside of here, what do we do inside of there, right? Do we reject it and start having the displacement higher, and then maybe we do come up for the previous weekly high? Same thing for GU. Do we come up into this FEG and utilize this and then go lower and start having a displacement lower? Then I'll look to sell GU. EU is a little bit weaker than GU, so yeah. But indices are a little bit more clear for where I would want to see price potentially go, which is to go for that maybe previous. I don't know if it's gonna get all the way down there today, but maybe at least low hanging fruit, the previous daily low. But yeah, that's it. Right now, if you was to look at this is not expanding. The daily is not expanding. The daily is in a consolidation. Same with ES. ES is kind of in a consolidation a bit. It's really not expanding, right? Like it was doing all in here. So these type of conditions could be a little weird. So take a small loss today. I'm not gonna look to press it again and just call that a week. You know what I'm saying? Especially since we're inside of a consolidation. So we'll see what happens with that news. And once we get to the news, if a opportunity comes and my setup is there, if and when that happens, then I'll come back to this. Okay, so what I'm seeing with EU is that we took out the previous macro high. And I'm looking at this to be a breaker to start trading towards the previous weekly low. I think it's in a very low resistant liquidity run type of deal right now. So I'm willing to take risk on a EU sell from this breaker all the way down to the previous weekly low. So I went ahead and put my sell limit. I'm using the micro, so that way I could be in at 122 risk and able to keep my stop right above here. We did gap down, so I'm looking for this to come and fill this and then reject off of here to start trading lower. So I'm looking for this down close candle to be utilized and to trade down to the previous weekly low. Yeah, we got news. We got the what news is it? We have existing home sales coming in at 10 o'clock. I'm thinking we'll be down there before even get to 10. So I want to see us reject off of the breaker and then continue lower. You also have this fair value gap right here. I want to see price come into and then reject off of there. So here it is. Here's that breaker right there, just a little bit more to tag me in. It did hit the low end of it. All right, there we go. So we're in an EU sell. I'm thinking it's low resistant to get down into the previous weekly low. If it comes and runs me out here, that'll be the only trade I take for today, because this is the only setup that I'm looking at for as a draw on liquidity basis, right? That news that came out, it really didn't have a run up, right? We gap lower, creating this volume imbalance, and I'm thinking that we're gonna trade lower from there. Alright, so we basically rejected off of this volume imbalance and this breaker. I will want to see how quickly do we trade below this low in this 5-minute candle, right? Can we start rejecting and getting some displacement lower through these lows, right? And start trading towards that previous weekly low, or do we chop around and mess around in here? Right, what I would rather see is us to reject off of this PD array and then start trading towards this low and through this low and close us through that low. So right now we're inside of this 850 to 910 macro. I want to see if we can get some displacement in this macro towards that previous weekly low. If not, then we're most likely going to come up for the stop if we don't get displacement from here. I would like to see displacement from here towards this low inside of this 850 to 910 macro. So we had a 5-minute. This 5-minute had closed through on this low, but it didn't expand through. So let's see if since we got to close here, can we get some expansion through? All of this is kind of like back and forth, right? This whole thing is kind of balanced. So let's see if we could get some speed away from here. That's what I want to see. The more it plays around, the more I'm willing to cut the trade short. To cut the trade quickly, because if it's low resistant to get down to this weekly low, I don't want to see too much retracement inside of this area, right? Since EU is much more weaker than GU. hopefully we can get the speed I'm looking for here. If not, then, you know, like I said, I'm willing to cut it. I could move my stop right here just to take a smaller loss because I don't anticipate us to come back up in here, into here. Even right here halfway, if I could get it there, take a $62 loss, $66 loss, that's completely fine. Right, when I'm anticipating it to stay heavy, that would be fine. I want to see us, can we get some displacement through. Now, because we got that news at 10, it may be a little choppy and booty cheeks and be booty fucking cheeks. But since I'm thinking EU is low resistant, I want to see if we can keep staying heavy towards there. Keep staying heavy towards my drawn liquidity. Keep holding up close candles towards that drawn liquidity. Keep holding FEGs towards that drawn liquidity. Right. So that's what I'm looking for. If not, then cut the trade. Cut the trade early because it's more than probable to come and hit my stop if that news is gonna drop and we're still hovering around this PD array instead of getting some movement lower. So that's some good displacement through. Just open and straight drop. It's good displacement. So what I could do is move my stop right above this PD array here. So if we do start getting retracements, large retracements, I would rather take that small loss since we have expanded at least halfway towards where my entry was, towards the previous weekly low. Me taking this loss, that's good. Notice I didn't put my stops at break even yet. I want to give it room to come and play up inside of this range right here if it wants to. This down close candle as well, right? Because this is now a breaker, right? Which it kind of already did its work all through this breaker because you have this last down close candle run on liquidity here, just like this is a breaker here. On a higher fractal, this is a breaker. So I want to see this range hold. I want to see us close relatively far away from this low because of this speed. We created a liquidity void, low volume. I don't know if this is a volume balance or liquidity void, but this is an important gap, right? So that's important. So we should, we like the plan was take a small loss today. If we do take a small loss today, we have a good week. You know what I mean? If we take a dub, we will have a great week today. Big wins, small losses, break even. No big losses. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to stick to, right? Like I said, this should be low resistant to run towards that low. Notice how we're holding up close candles, so we should hold these up close candles ranges minimum. Don't want to see it come back up into this breaker. We already did his work all in here. So if we do trade up into this range again, I don't anticipate us to come all the way back up here because it's low resistant towards that weekly low. I put my TP for the highest amount down at this daily fair value gap. This is what we could be retracing into right in there. So that is my highest TP. I think we could get down into there today. Maybe news might push it down into there. I will take partials, a good amount of partials here, and leave a small runner towards that low, those lows down there. Once we get into here, partials, and then see if we could get a nice run. Maybe news might push price down into there. So I'm looking for this 5 minute to close relatively through this low. At least leave this gap on this close. That would be good for me. But like I said, risk is already managed. We're straight here. Small loss, straight. Everything according to plan. This is A plus trade management for me. Mentally, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm not feeling any type of FOMO, any type of greed, any type of fear, any type of, you know what I mean? Everything feels good right now. So just letting it do what it does, and then, you know, just let it do what it does. You know what I'm saying? All right, come on, Price. You know the previous weekly low is right there. Did we get another immediate rebalance right here and then run? What did we do? That previous weekly low is right there. It'd be crazy if they run it all the way back up and save it for news run back down into that. That would be crazy. We'll see. All right, so we're here in this macro now. Let's see if that 5-minute candle can be a bearish candle, since we're inside of that macro, and by the time news drops, we get an expansion, maybe expansion. I'm anticipating an expansion through this weekly low. Not hit it, reject, and go higher. It could do that, but I'm expecting rejection. I mean, expansion through it, right? Not anticipating it to be a reversal today for EU. I think that daily volume imbalance and the weekly low, that volume imbalance, daily FEG and weekly low, minimum low hanging fruit, but since it's very low, since it's low resistant, I think we could get here today, and it's Thursday, and then create the low of the week there, cap off the week there. I'm gonna actually take 3. Actually, no, I'm gonna take 4 at that previous weekly low, and then I'm gonna leave 3 to run down into there. If it can get down into there. Since I had a big day Monday, right? I have room to let price run to a higher alliance portion target. So basically got 9 minutes into that news, almost 8 minutes into that let's see what news it is, the existing home sales. So we got 8 minutes until there. I don't know how volatile that shit's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be enough to get us through trade to and through that previous weekly low, right, and clean up all the liquidity that's down here, and then maybe run into that inefficiency, and 2 birds in 1 stone type shit. Come on, come to daddy. Come to daddy. Let me get that partial off. I could partial at 200, but I want to partial at that previous, relatively close to that previous weekly low, since that is my target. And I think it's very high probable for us to at least wick into it, take everybody out that's inside of here. Right? Come on, come to daddy. Alright, so we got 10 seconds until news, and I'm not playing with this shit. You know what I'm saying? You better go down. Right here. Previous weekly low. I'm not playing. I'm not playing, EU. I'm not playing with you. Alright. Take that out, because this is when the news, right here. It's a 15-minute fair value gap, maybe, possibly. It didn't go lower. Yup, there you go. Now, come on now. No deep retracement. No deep retracement. Damn, this shit slow as hell. Maybe because I'm threatening it. It was thinking about going up, and I was threatening it, and it was like, okay, hold on, let me rethink. Let me rethink a bit. Okay. We back at you again. Come on, EU. Come on, EU. Previous weekly low was right there. Previous weekly low was right there. Come on. So what would be optimal is if this 15-minute closes within this 15-minute fair value gap, and then we go towards the previous weekly low. I don't like ideas of it running up here, so I would rather take the break even and just let it go, man. Like, damn, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck that if it does come up and hit me out break even when it was like literally right there at previous weekly low. Like, what you gonna let niggas from the previous weekly low just win? Yeah, and be in profit and stay in profit. I guess that's cool. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so looking at dollar did run out the previous weekly high, so that this could be the end of that run there, right? So I should have been looking at dollar a bit, see what dollar was doing. This might be a break even. This most definitely might be a break even because of that. So looks like we're gonna have to take that break even to the chin if that's the case, right? Let's see how this 15-minute. It's not over to the fat lady seeing, right? Let's look how that 15-minute candle closes. We did tap into the high end of this key area again. So let's see if we could get a little bit of a breakdown from here. Close, maybe this next 5 minute can at least close in within this range and get back to that previous weekly low for EU. But dollar did run out that previous weekly high, so EU doesn't have to get down into there. This could be the end of the move. So yep, that's just that's something to journal. That's something to you know, it was a mistake, not at least partially there. I should have been looking at dollar, but it's okay. It is okay, right? As long as we don't take no losses today, straight. This is the only trade I will be taking today. Last trade of the week. So whatever it does here, it does here. You know, I got this just in case. Just in case. So it's kind of, it ain't hit me out at break even yet because it knows what I got in my hand. You know what I'm saying? It knows. But yeah, it's not looking the best since that since dollar hit that previous weekly high. It's not looking the best. But 2 minutes into this closes, let's see how this candle closes. Hopefully we close within this 15-minute fair value gap range, and then it would be good to see that start dropping lower if we can get that type of close, right? Alright, so there's the 15-minute close. Closed above this 15-minute fair value gap. This could be the change in the state delivery. This could continue to go up from here, maybe break even. If we could start getting a trade back through this 15-minute fair value gap, cool, straight. You know, at this point, I'm accepting the break even. I'm accepting the break even if it hits me out at break even. because of dollar taking out that high. That's something I just should have been paying attention to. But it is what it is. Now we tapped into the 15-minute balance price range now. That's a balance price range. What I would like to see in on side of my position, I would want to see us quickly get back through this fair value gap. We did hit the consequent encroachment of this wick multiple times, right? Of this range, of this low. So I want to see if we could quickly get back through that 15-minute fair value gap, right? That we closed through. Display a displacement through, be completely fine. If we could get back below this up close candle, even better, right? That's what I want to see. And then maybe we do go for the previous weekly low on this run here, right? But I'm not asking for too much. Like I said, I accept the outcome of this trade. You know what I mean? It's gonna do what it's gonna do, right? Good week regardless. So there's the consequent encroachment of that balanced price range. I want to see us get through there. I don't want to see bounces off of there. I want to see us get through there. Right? That's what I want to see. Even though dollar took out its previous weekly high, EU could just be the one that's lagging behind to get to that previous weekly low. Right? I don't think they're gonna leave them to go higher. If they do, then cool. Then you got that SMT, whatever, right? Cool, but I'm still focused on that previous weekly low. Anything close to that, I'll probably TP. Okay, so the fact that we closed this in, that means it didn't create a fair value gap. Only thing it could do is immediate rebalance here and then go higher. But the fact that it closed this all the way in and we traded back through this, even though we didn't close yet, that means it's not as low resistant to continue higher, right? That means it's still good on my side of the trade. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a lot harder to go higher than lower, right? The fact that we bounced right off the tippity top end of this PD array, right? We hit the consequent encroachment of here, and then we close this back in. So this is good in the favor of my trade. I want to see that 15-minute candle close below, which it should, the consequent encroachment of this balanced price range, right? Because you got that trade sell side offer and then buy side offer straight through it. So now we're getting that sell side offer straight through it again. That should be a balanced price range. Price should not have to go back through and higher. I think that previous weekly low is gonna be hit for me, right? It's more probable to hit that. The fact that we did this, now it could get iffy and start ranging and chop around. All right, fuck it, cool. But I want to see the lower end of this hold now, and then see if we could start getting some trade, a trade lower, get back below this up these consecutive up close candles. See if we can start expanding right back through there. So notice how I'm not touching, really looking at the 5-minute no more, because the 15-minute is a lot more important to me because of that FEG that got created. So now I'm just focused on the 15-minute. How does the 15-minute candle trade, right? 15 minutes. How does this candle trade, right? Do we respect the lower end and continue lower? Do we not close back in this FEG? It should do that. It should start continue lower from here. That's what I would rather see. You know what I mean? That's what's more optimal to me, right? So just like how I drew it up here, that's exactly what it did here. Close through, trade back into it, and then now I want to see this expansion leg happen, right? So It knew better. You know what I'm saying? It knew better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, guys. So right now we're in the 11:10:50 to 11:10 macro. I want to see price expand from here and get to the previous weekly or at least these lows uh, with this macro right here, and then we could hopefully get a winning trade out of this. You know, it's a winning trade regardless. Like I said, if it's break even, winning trade because we ain't lose nothing. But hopefully we can make something today. Hopefully this macro can get through this FEG. I'm anticipating this to potentially be an inversion FEG once we get through it. Use the lower end of it to get down into the previous weekly low that I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the trade is in our favor still. I don't want to see much rejection from this fair value gap though. But yeah, we'll see what happens from here. Okay, so we constantly held that 15-minute balanced price range, consequent encroachment of that balanced price range. You can see right here. Looking at this 15-minute candle, I want to see if we can start aiming towards these lows again, and then hopefully, you know, it gives us the TP, right? What I do want to see is us start trading through this fair value gap right here. I don't want to see this as bullish to go higher, right? I want to see us get through there, right? I don't want to see these people eat, you know, since I'm on the opposite side of their trade, right? So all right, so this macro was straight booty cheeks. We just straight bounced off of this. This might be the run higher, since we couldn't really get through this FEG. Let's look at the 15-minute. So the 15-minute did kind of close above the balanced price range. We just getting back and forth now. This trade kind of went to shit, all because dollar already took out that previous weekly high, and that could just be the end of be all of it, right? So right now we just sitting through a low resistant type of back and forth type of run. I do think it could get down here by this 11 o'clock candle. That's what I want to see. But right now it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? I don't want to take it at 150 because I risk 125. I could take it depending on what time. If we do, if we're at lunchtime and I'm at least 160, 150 before lunch, cool. We are holding the bodies of this 15-minute balanced price range, so maybe we start moving lower from there. I don't know. EU's playing games right now. You do have relative equal lows built right here, so maybe we could run back to that, through that, maybe come back for this. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But this trade definitely went to straight dookie cheeks. Even the news didn't really do anything, but this candle right here. So you took out the high of that news candle, and we just took out the low, right? There's no telling what this wants to do. All right, so I'm just counting on it continuing lower or break even, man. All right, so I gotta accept the break even. It didn't do exactly what I thought it was gonna do. Dollar did take out that previous weekly high. That would have been the best time to TP for me with EU, and EU just went to straight dookie cheeks. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, man. You just gotta accept the outcome of the break even, accept the outcome of the trade. You know what I'm saying? We lost basically $14. $14. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? We just gotta accept the outcome. Accept the outcome of the trade. You know what I'm saying? Accept the break even. I'm not gonna impulse in on this again, or try to get another entry in. It's about to be 12 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta accept that loss, man. It was right at 200. I could have took it at 200 if I would have known that dollar. I don't know what the fuck going on with TradingView right now, but if I would have known that dollar did take out the previous weekly high, I could have got out at with EU at $210. You know what I'm saying? Took that dub. That's just something that I got a journal. That's just that was a mistake. You know what I'm saying? You can't let that mistake get to you and try to impulse into another trade or try to get back in and potentially even lose that. You don't want to get back into a trade that should have been a winner and then lose. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. I accept the outcome. Accept what happened. Accept that. You know what I'm saying? It was up 200. Didn't take it. That's completely fine, right? So if you guys enjoyed that video, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Share the video. Share the video. Let other people see, a degenerate like me that can't trade and straight demo baller. You know what I'm saying? Make stupid mistakes like not TPing at 200 after a dollar took out a previous weekly high. But yeah, and you know what I'm saying? This shit didn't work at all. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? Just get rid of that shit. It ain't even work. You didn't give a fuck. But yeah, that's it, man. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.